Welcome, dear learners, to today's new session on the adrenal hormones. So, the adrenal glands are, as you can see in the figure, the adrenal glands are situated right above the kidney, both the kidneys, and even though it's a very small organ, it acts as a severe or a significant source of hormones. So, the adrenal glands can be divided into three regions. One is the outer cortex, and you have the inner medulla. And the zones of the cortex can be divided or separated into three different zones. That is the zona reticularis, the zona fasciculata, and the outermost zona glomerulosa. So, the adrenal cortex, the outer adrenal cortex separated into three different zones, and the inner adrenal medulla. So, in this figure, you can see the connective tissue that is found in the adrenal cortex, and each tissue, that is zona glomerulosa, produces mineralocorticoids, which is important for regulating mineral balance. Example is aldosterone. The zona fasciculata, also produced by the adrenal cortex, or also the cell of the adrenal cortex, produces glucocorticoids, which regulates glucose metabolism. Example is cortisol, corticosterone, cortisone. And finally, you have the zona reticularis, also the tissue of adrenal cortex, which produces androgens that stimulate masculinization. Example is dehydroepiandrosterone. And finally, you have the adrenal medulla, the innermost region, which is important for the synthesis of stress hormones that stimulate sympathetic autonomous nervous system. Example is epinephrine and norepinephrine. So, we will go through each of the segments separately. First is the adrenal cortex. And the adrenal cortex, as you can see, is important for both short-term stress response and long-term stress response. The hormone that is being produced during different systems or different stress responses is different. So, we will go through one by one. Consider the short-term stress response. You have a stress, and based on that, the nerve cells in the hypothalamus is activated, and it signals the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord the nerve signal enters into the adrenal medulla, and the adrenal medulla suddenly releases epinephrine and norepinephrine. As you know that the epinephrine and norepinephrine are the fight or flight hormones, right? So they have a series of functions, that is glycogen is suddenly broken down to glucose so as to increase blood glucose, blood pressure is increased, breathing rate is increased, metabolic rate is increased, and there is also a change in blood flow patterns that lead to increased alertness and decreased activities that are not important for sustenance of life at that time. Example is digestive and kidney activity. Under conditions of long-term stress response, the hypothalamus releasing hormones or tropic hormones, which enter into the anterior pituitary and releases what is called ACTH, or the adrenocorticotropic hormone. The adrenocorticotropic hormone releases mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids. These two hormones have importance in the long-term stress response mediated by the adrenal cortex. So, the mineralocorticoids are important for retention of sodium ions and water by the kidneys and increase in blood pressure as well as blood volume. Glucocorticoids at the same time is important for protein and fat breakdown so as to increase blood glucose concentration, and also simultaneously the immune system can be repressed or suppressed. So, these are the major actions and the major organs that are affected by both glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. As you can see, mineralocorticoids major action or the only action is on the kidney, whereas glucocorticoid is more generalized. It acts on liver, cardiovascular system, kidney and the immune system. So this is the biosynthetic pathway of glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids and androgens in adrenal cortex. So we will be dealing with each one of it as the topic comes up. So the first state is where cholesterol can be converted to pregnenolone, and this step is common in all the three zones, that is zona fasciculata, zona glomerulosa and zona reticularis, and the enzyme are P450 cytochromes which are involved. In the second step, the pregnenolone can be converted to cortisol or corticosterone. So this is a more blown up figure of it, where pregnenolone is a 17 hydroxy group is added, so it becomes 17 hydroxy pregnenolone, and which is then converted to 17 hydroxy progesterone, further converted to 11 deoxycortisol, and finally converted to cortisol. On the other hand, pregnenolone can also directly be converted to progesterone, which is converted to 11 deoxycorticosterone, finally to corticosterone. So the major difference happens in the side chains that are present in the cholesterol. So these are the rest of the reactions, where zona glomerulosa converts pregnenolone to aldosterone and zona reticularis converts pregnenolone to androstenedione. So you have cortisol, corticosterone, aldosterone and androstenedione that is being produced by the zona glomerulosa, zona reticularis and zona fasciculata. So we will go into the details of glucocorticoids. So the glucocorticoids are secreted by a negative feedback regulation, which is mediated by the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus releases what is known as the corticotropin releasing hormone, or the CRH. The CRH or the CRH released from the hypothalamus is influenced by the circadian rhythm, so that daytime it is activated and at night time it is deactivated. So the corticotropin releasing hormone acts on the anterior lobe of pituitary gland, which releases adrenocorticotropic hormone, and the ACTH further acts on the adrenal cortex, leading to a release of glucocorticoid, and the glucocorticoid produces a feedback inhibition of both the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus. The glucocorticoid is used by the blood cells, and as a result there is a reduction in the glucocorticoid levels, and which indicates a stimulation of the hypothalamus to release more CRH. Stress conditions can also activate the hypothalamus to release CRH hormone. So this is the typical pattern of cortisol concentration during the day, that is, it starts from 12 am, and as the day starts it goes to a peak, and the peak is at 8 am. So after 8 am it starts to decrease, and by noon there is a slight increase, but again it starts to decrease, and by 12 pm it comes to its all time low.